Alright guys, Hanor here. Alright, anyways, this video is being brought to you because very soon there's going to be air forces in the ground force battles. When this happens, you might want to be able to bomb enemy tanks and the like. So there's going to be some things that you guys will need to know. Alright, so right now I'm in a fighter bomber, so I'm going to take it off real quick. Now one of the first things that you'll need to know is that, and I play realistic and simulation modes exclusively. In realistic mode, you will be able to see icons on the map, like this one over here above my plane. You'll be able to select them, but that's only for NPCs. Players, you will not see any icons on the map. You will not be able to select them like that unless a friendly ground forces player actually targets them. The Air Force players will not be able to target them at all, or see them at all, except for physically. You'd have to physically fly over the area, look at the ground, spot it on the ground. That's how it will have to be done. Simulation, it's going to remain that way, of course. Alright, now that we covered that, the first thing that generally, historically that was done for dive bombing is climbing up to about 10,000 feet. And this allowed for a better viewpoint to see the enemy tanks, but you gotta think of it this way. During that time, they were fighting in columns. If they were in engagements, they were in lines, generally still. It was very, very different than how it's played in the actual game. In the game, it's all random. Players go off and do whatever they want. They're not, generally that bunched up together and stuff, and be harder to locate. And also, as you get further up, it's harder to render. For some reason, rendering becomes harder. This, being able to see spots out of, in the ground is harder. So, realistically speaking, in this game, in realistic mode, I generally have preferred in the events and in the closed betas before they move them from the nightly to the events. I generally like to be somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 feet whenever I would look for my targets. And if, because sometimes you won't get lucky. A lot of times the guys on the grounds will not mark them for you. Now, this will probably change over time, but at least for starters, it'll be harder to see. Now, dive bombing, I wait until he's generally 60 degrees below. I'm trying to climb right now. I want to lose as much potential speed as I can without getting up too high. I'm cutting my throttle. Okay, now I'm under 180 miles per hour. I rolled it just because it's quicker to point the nose down. I do plan to roll back. And I've also set a delay on this, so I can kind of show you guys exactly, because I want the pipper to be kind of dead on. Okay, bombs out, pulling up. See how close those are? Now those will kill that vehicle. Boom. Alright, that is how you want to dive bomb. You don't want to keep your throttle going once you go into the dive. Now, we're going to dive bomb this friendly AAA down here. It's hard to see blue against green, but it's right there where my pipper is. Okay, so I'm going to climb because I need altitude to do a good dive bomb for you guys. Okay, it's getting below me. I'm cutting throttle. Oh, it's way up, really far below me. So what's going to end up happening is I'm actually going to be going back the way I'd come, kind of. Which is not how I wanted to do that. I'm going to wait till I'm close. Bombs out. Pretty close. It'll still kill it. Alright, now I did the delay to kind of give you guys more of an exact to see where it hit, because you can drop your bomb pretty far away from a target like that and it'll still detonate and kill it. Armored vehicles, not so lucky. And I wouldn't recommend running too much of a delay when actually fighting against players on the ground. Alright, so we just covered dive bombing. Now we're going to want to cover pickle bombing, or free bombing. free drop. You know, there's a lot of different terms for it. Pickle bombing is by far the hardest bombing maneuver to pull off, but there's going to be times when you need to pull it off. You know, you may have a lot of enemy aircraft that are above the target area, and with these bombs, you're just not getting up to the altitude. They have dominance over you because they have so much more of an altitude advantage, the like, you know, that kind of thing. So, you do not want to be, you know, have to worry about going up there. Or you might have just bombed, but now there's an enemy threat nearby. You don't want to climb. You know, you just want to get rid of your last bombs. You know, you got a leak of fuel. You need to just ditch your bombs. There's many things. Okay, so you approach. You put the pipper on. As you get close, you let your pippers drift off, and as you can see, they were pretty much right there. You know, I get really low to the target when I pickle bomb. The closer you are to the ground, the less room there is for error. And in this situation, though, you have to be mindful of what your time on your bombs are, because if I had an instant exploding bomb, I would have probably just killed myself. So generally, I always leave some kind of delay on the bombs, up to 1 second, you know, for real targets. But you know, same here, pipper on the target, wait till I'm close, drift, you know, pretty close, boom. You know, alright. Now know that this next bombing method doesn't really have a relevance for tanks, but it's good to know too. Same thing, you might have a reason why you cannot go and dive bomb on a ship. So, and this one requires at least 500 pounders or 1,000 pounders. Do not go any higher than 1,000 pounders, they are too heavy. Do not go any lower than 500 pounders, they do not have a good enough detonation area to pull it off. And this one takes practice, so I recommend that you practice it before even trying it. But it's skip bombing. It's relatively the same thing as skipping a stone across a lake. Now, to skip bomb, there's a sweet spot, because if you're too high, they will just plunge into the water, maybe bounce once, but generally they just plunge in the water and they're useless. They don't go, they don't skip. If you're too low, they'll skip, you know, at least one time, but normally no more than that. You have to hit a sweet spot. Now, the sweet spot area in feet is somewhere between 80 and 100 feet. Okay, trying to level it out there. It's hard to get it precise. You gotta watch that drift there. Okay, and you gotta go relatively fast. Okay, bombs out. Okay, there should be good 3 skips. 1, 2, 3, and that's the last. And goodbye. Destroyer gone. Now, with this single 500 pounder, and I have it set for a 3-second fuse, I don't think I'm going to be able to kill another destroyer with a skip bombing practice. Alright? But we'll see if I can pull it off. Because who knows, maybe I can. And like I said, the trick is to get that range right. Now, you don't have to be spot on at 80, you don't have to be spot on, you know, 100. That's just the area that I recommend that you shoot for when you're doing this. And, okay, I think I got too close. 1, 2, yeah, I kind of butchered the bombing there. I got too low, because I think I pitched my nose down too much, and that's what caused that bomb to not bounce properly there. But anyways, as you can see, you know, it can be very effective, and if for some reason you cannot go up against, you know, to do the dive bombing, then that's what you're going to want to do. Now, let's cover a little bit of something else too, because, you know, obviously in this, that they are friendly ships, and realistically you're going to have enemy ships that are shooting at you. And so once you get in, drop your bombs and get out, there's a method that you might want to try doing. Now, I may miss my targets trying to show this off, and some people call this the Z method. There's a lot of different names for a lot of different, or for a lot of the same kind of maneuvers and such. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe the last time I saw this, or was reading on this tactic, it was called something of the Z method. And it's used by torpedo bombers. So if you've got something that's got torpedoes, you know, this could be very helpful too. And it's also used for skip bombs. So in this, you're getting low, getting to this altitude, it's really low. You gotta make sure that you aren't just sticking around too much, you know, weaves and stuff, and you drop and you go up. I mean straight up, straight vertical. And the reason being is because it's harder for the ship to switch, and we killed the ship. And then when you're getting toward the peak of your climb, you dive, but you dive away a bit, which makes you a harder target to follow. And you get back towards the surface of the water, you level out for a bit there, you can keep your juking up, and you can get out of there. Alright guys, now like I said, this was, you know, helpful bombing tips, you know, for dive bombing, pickle bombing, skip bombing, and also an evasion maneuver right there that we just covered. And I hope that all this information can help you guys out with taking out, you know, your ground forces and ships in the future, because, you know, a lot of things are going to be coming into play. Who knows how long it'll be till ships come into play though, but, you know, still, you know, it's really good information to practice and utilize. And if you keep up the speed on some of these things, it can be really helpful. And one other thing with the skip bombing, you know, you must have a delay. I believe I've said this, but I don't think I said a time. I've been running 3 seconds. 3 seconds seems to work the best for the skip bombing, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't run a 2-second fuse or a little bit longer. If you're running longer though, I would hope that you at least be running 1,000 pounders for the skip bombing. Alright guys, I hope this video was very helpful to you guys, and if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys out there, and subscribe for future content to come. Later guys.